Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now on this Tuesday. I'm Justin Gould.
And I'm Rory Polero in for Matt Hummel. Happening now, a city of Jamestown woman is facing charges after allegedly holding a knife to a man's throat.
Plus, fire officials in the village of Falconer are seeking donations for a new ambulance. But first, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter is standing by with a live look at our weather. Hey, Dakota.
Hey, Justin and Rory, and happy Tuesday, everybody. And it's almost like a rinse and repeat of what we went through over the past couple days. Dreary and wet. Here's a live look over downtown Erie. You can see the raindrops on the camera officially gauged 0.03 of an inch over the past 24 hours, or at least since midnight there at the camera. Look at the rain. It's coming from north to south with a frontal boundary that's moving through. So ultimately, as this moves on through, we will see some breaks in the rain coverage, but like yesterday, no sunshine. The clouds are really going to win it out. 48 over 39 was the high low. Look at our averages, 67.41. So we'll get there. It's just got to take a little bit of time. So for the afternoon, scattered rain showers continue. Cloudy intervals, especially later this afternoon. But another dreary day. High temps 45 to 52, way below average. Northwest wind averaging around 6 to 10. We'll talk about a possible warm-up. Keyword possible over the weekend with that Brotherhood Property Maintenance 7-Day a little bit later on in the show. Justin and Roy.
All right. Looking forward to that warm-up, Dakota.
We all
hopefully it'll come sooner than later. Thank you. Our top story, a city of Jamestown woman was taken into custody after allegedly holding a utility knife to a man's throat, injuring him. Jamestown police said they responded to a report of a person with a weapon early this morning at a Fairmount Avenue house. Police said 34-year-old Jennifer Allen was arguing with the man and held the utility knife against his throat. Police said the man then escaped and that there was an order of protection for Allen to stay away from him. She's charged with first-degree criminal contempt and also aggravated criminal contempt. Allen was taken to Jamestown City Jail pending arraignment.
And a Cold Spring man is facing charges after the Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Department responded to a report of a man pointing a shotgun at someone and also striking that person. 38-year-old Joshua John was charged with second-degree menacing Friday after the alleged incident on South Loop Road. Deputies said John was also charged with fourth-degree possession of a weapon, felony DWI, and not wearing a helmet while operating an ATV. He was arraigned in town of New Albion Court and held without bail following 2 previous felony convictions and remanded to the Cattaraugus County Jail.
And a Jamestown man finds himself behind bars after he allegedly fought with Jamestown police officers who were responding to a call for help at a Cook Avenue residence Monday morning. Police said 34-year-old Richard Neal came to the residence in violation of an order of protection. Police said the victim was screaming for help during the 911 call. Neal was charged with felony criminal contempt in the first degree, a felony aggravated family offense, and resisting arrest. Police said Neal was across the street when they arrived. He was taken into custody, and they said Neal fought with them during that arrest.
In other news, the Village of Falconer Volunteer Fire Department will be holding a Fill the Boot drive this weekend to raise funds to offset the costs incurred after they purchased a new ambulance. Firefighters will be at the Four Corners in Falconer, Work and Main Street Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Officials said the current ambulance has seen significant use and experienced severe wear and tear since it was put in service more than 10 years ago. Emergency calls have significantly increased over the years in Falconer. Just last year, department members and apparatus responded to 719 calls, dedicating 7,546 man-hours. Over 75% of the call volume was EMS related. So far this year, the department's responded to 290 calls. The department's EMS service runs solely on monetary donations, the dedication of 20 basic volunteer EMTs, and 4 advanced life support providers. EMS providers will be parked at the nearby CVS parking lot to educate the community about the services they provide and how to become an EMT and to conduct tours of the new and old ambulances.
That's a really cool opportunity, I think, not just to raise funds for the department, but for the community to learn a little bit more, too, about these brave men and women who truly volunteer their time to help serve those in the community.
Well, I'm a little biased because, as you know, my son is a volunteer with Frewsburg Fire Department. And I see the time that it takes away from his social life with his wife and his kid, and he loves it.
Right. Well, tell your son thank you for me because.
Thank you to all of these guys and women. They we couldn't thrive without them.
No, and that's the thing. A lot of these small communities, which there are so many of them, outside of Jamestown, Dunkirk, and I guess Olean.
Yeah.
Are they really the only paid fire services? You wouldn't have any sort of response at all. So they really give all their time to this, and certainly you see them out there with the boot, you think, oh boy, what's this? But even I'm sure even like the smallest amount probably adds up in the long run.
Well, and that's why it's important that we continue to cover what they do, so that their villages and towns know. Right. Because it's not cheap.
No.
I mean, you can spend $1 million on a piece of apparatus and not even blink.
Right. And the thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize that most of their calls, as you said, are made up from EMS calls. They're not 100% newsworthy things. Like, you see a house fire or something like that, and we're available to cover it. Like, we'll have it on the news. But, grandma falls down. You have an overdose, heart attacks, things like that. We don't cover. And the thing is, like, these men and women go at all times of the night. Rain or shine.
Well, and they get basically the same training as the paid crews, and they run the same risks as the paid crews.
That's exactly
it. Took me a little while to get used to my son risking his life going up on the roof to cut a hole in it in a fire.
That must be strange to see.
It's nerve-wracking, but I'm so proud that he's giving back the way he does.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, thank you all for joining us today. Lots of news to tell you about. Want to say hello to everyone in the comments, though. Hello to Seth. Hello to Victoria. Hello to Pam. Hello to Deborah. Hello to Jill. Thank you for joining us. Jay, great to see you, sir. Chris, good afternoon to you. Angela, good afternoon to you. Lori, good afternoon. Alberta.
Hi, Alberta.
Kathy. Thank you all so much for joining us. Love to see these top fans. You know how you become a top fan, Roy. It's really, really easy. All you got to do is like, share, and comment on our posts on Facebook and download that WNY News Now mobile app, and you're on your way.
Well, the app is amazing. I know we push it a lot, but you're really missing out on the best of our coverage if you don't have the app.
Yeah, it really is. It's an amazing tool. So howdy to all of you. Howdy to Al as well. Happy Tuesday. Coming up, tired of robocalls? Hear how a handful of senators are trying to end them.
The first, Chautauqua County officials have partnered with a private firm to track herbicides in the lake. Dakota?
Howdy. I need my 10-gallon hat. Let's take a live look over high above the Doubletree Hotel in downtown Jamestown. The clouds are with us once again today, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. News Now at noon continues in a minute. Don't go away.
Live and on demand, you're watching WNY News Now.
Now open in downtown Jamestown, Pearl City Hops, Restaurant and Tavern.
I have some real old-timey dishes on there that I'm just giving new life to. Like there's a shepherd's pie on there that's going to have some bison in it, real thick hearty gravy. Then I'm also doing beer flights. We're pairing it with a set of sliders, a set of tacos, and a set of mini rolls. So everything's going to have its own pair, so you can get a taste of a little bit of everything and all the beers. We don't want to be known as the restaurant in the hotel. We want to be known as Pearl City Hops.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
And happening now, Chautauqua County officials have announced they have partnered with Princeton Hydro to monitor the use of herbicides in Chautauqua Lake. Officials said Princeton Hydro will conduct pre-treatment, during treatment, and post-treatment sampling and observation to objectively evaluate herbicide treatment. Sample sites will be located along an estimated 12 areas within 4 treatment zones, 4 potential drift zones, and 4 control zones. Princeton Hydro will also perform a review of the New York State DEC issued herbicide permit issued for this year. County officials said this includes a formal review of all permits to be incorporated into its third-party sampling, an observation plan. Princeton Hydro is also tasked with taking post-treatment samples and observations 4 to 6 weeks after the treatment, and the group will prepare a final report to compile the information and summarize and interpret the field data collected in all 3 tasks. This information will be used by county officials to improve the treatment process next year.
Will ever get woken up by a phone call in the middle of the night only to either hear about a car warranty or have the call in a language you don't understand? New York State Senator Chuck Schumer is trying to make robocalls a thing of a past. Schumer is pushing the Telephone Robocall Abuse Criminal Enforcement and Deterrence Act. It's also known as the Traced Act. Now, this bill would give federal agencies the tools and authority to trace, prosecute, and enforce fines against robocall scammers. Schumer called robocalls a plague that we've got to cure. The senator notes that in April alone, areas around Buffalo received 51.99 million robocalls. That's a lot.
That's more than enough. I think half of them were to me. The FDA has called for more safety data on some chemicals found in sunscreens, after researchers found some of those chemicals might be seeping into your bloodstream, but it's too early to tell if they're harmful. As they work to get more answers, what are consumers to do? In today's Health Minute, James Deenan brings you one alternative you might not be aware of.
If you're looking for an alternative to chemical sunscreen this summer, environmental groups say look no further than mineral or physical sunscreens. These are also big hits with estheticians.
Chemical sunscreens under active ingredients will usually have 3 to 5 ingredients at the top. They usually say things like oxybenzone, avobenzone, or oxytisonate. With mineral sunscreens, the active ingredients are generally titanium dioxide and zinc. Those are minerals that come from the earth.
The Environmental Working Group, a source that puts out a yearly guide to sunscreens, calls zinc oxide the gold standard when it comes to protecting your skin from harmful UVA or UVB rays.
You can't see it, but when you put them on, they're like tiny mirrored scales on your skin. And the way that they work is when the UVA and UVB rays hit them, they deflect. So there's no radiating, there's no sheath over the top, there's nothing to break you out.
And as a bonus, it's also delicate on your skin.
Zinc is an active ingredient in most physical sunscreens. Zinc is ironically also the active ingredient in diaper rash cream. Diaper rash cream is anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial.
But don't just rely on sunscreens. The best way to protect yourself when out in the sun is to keep covered and stay in the shade. For today's Health Minute, I'm James Dinan.
Thank you, James. Appreciate the report.
Well, the village of Fredonia water was voted best tasting here in Chautauqua County during the annual water tasting contest that happened this past weekend. More than 100 people judged water samples from Cherry Creek, Dunkirk, Frewsburg, Jamestown, and Mayville. Judges blindly tasted that water from those municipalities and voted for which one tasted the best. The city of Jamestown, they won last year, came in second place this year. Fredonia will now move on to the regional competition and compete against other county winners from Western New York. pretty cool.
I drink gallons and gallons and gallons of water. It's
Yeah.
always been my favorite drink.
A lot of people who aren't from this area say they don't like, for example, Jamestown city water.
I hate city water.
See, I don't know. I've never minded. But
I have a filter kit at home. I have a little thing with a filter. I used to just go out to my brother's. He has well water, and I would fill up a couple gallon jugs of his water
and bring it here
and bring it home.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of times they say that water tastes a lot better because it has all the natural minerals in it. But some places you have to be careful because they would never ever say this really, but like the well water's kind of at times contaminated, right? That's always a concern for a lot of people?
Yeah, we had a where I lived before, we had spring water.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it had 300 parts per million of human fecal matter.
Oh,
so we had to move.
That's great. Oh man!
Because that's the only advantage the city water gives you is that it's treated,
clean.
and filtered, monitored. I just don't like fluoride.
Right.
But water, the more you don't want to drink 74 gallons a day, but you should drink at least 64 ounces a day.
Yeah. I got my big. I always show people. I got my big. Gallon here.
Yeah,
so
you're ready.
We're ready to go. It's empty by the afternoon, and I usually try to fill it up once or twice. So, and Samantha says, bottled water is sometimes the best, and at least that is cleaned.
I quit buying certain brands because it turned out it was just tap water from another city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the mineral water, like San Pellegrino. It's kind of expensive, but boy, is it good.
It is delish. Coming up, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, he has details on if and when warmer temperatures will be on the way. We'll want to hear that.
And later, a sneak peek at Jamestown Public Schools' upcoming art show when Western New York Now returns.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
Turn to Brotherhood Property Maintenance for all your lawn care and landscaping needs, no matter the season. Brotherhood Property Maintenance does it all, from professional plowing during the winter months to expert landscaping all summer long. Count on Brotherhood Property Maintenance for mowing, landscaping, tree work, spring and fall cleanup, plus snow removal. Serving both commercial and residential lots, check out Jamestown's fastest growing landscaping crew on Facebook or call us right now to book an appointment.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
And welcome back. And indeed, water is good for you, but we don't need this kind of water anymore. We're tired of this rain that keeps coming down across the area. This is how much rainfall came down over the past 24 hours. Chautauqua Lake, over half an inch of rainfall. Mayville, 0.48. Cattaraugus, 4.6. We got down there in Cat County and Randolph, 0.27. And officially at the airport, 0.16 was gauged. So again, the rain continues. And speaking about water levels, the Lake Erie water levels are now going up. The Great Lakes now, several of the Great Lakes are now running above the average for where we should be. So Lake Erie, the current water level on Lake Erie is 574.3 feet. That's how much the depth of the lake water. The average for this day is actually 573.93. So we're running almost half a foot above average. And this new current water level breaks the record for the month of May. The old record for the month of May was just a little over 574 feet. That was set back in 1986. So this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because if the lake water level continues to rise, we're going to have to look at possible lakeshore flooding as we go into the spring or summer. But we'll keep our eyes on that, and we'll let you know on what's going on with that. News now, Cam, the clouds really just sucked in. Once again, it's 40 at the airport. Yes, It is May, what is today's date? Like the 10th or something like that? Or is it like the 13th, I think it is.
The 14th.
And it's 40 degrees. Can you believe this? North wind at
14th.
10, got a wind chill of 34 degrees. Here's First Defense Doppler. Again, as I showed you earlier, this rain is actually coming from the north, working its way down to the south. This is in response of a frontal boundary that's actually moving through. And you can see it here as we put it in a time lapse. You can actually see it moving from north to south. And it's starting to make its way down into the southern part of the county. But again, all of this is going to continue. But the good news is after this ends, we will see a little bit of a break in it. Here's what's going on. Low pressure area with that frontal boundary. This high is going to move in, but it's going to take another couple days for that high to really start to move in and start to clear us out. So here's future scan. You can see the rain continues from north to south. We'll have a little bit of a break. Tonight, dry, no weather hassles. Now tomorrow, mainly usable in the morning. The better chance of rain is not going to be until the afternoon hours, like later in the afternoon. So the majority of the day will be usable. Temperatures will start to warm up a little bit. And then there you see the rain starting to come in on Wednesday going into Wednesday night. But then we start to clear it out as we go into Thursday. Now, talking about warmer temperatures, this is a change in the current computer model guidance. It looks like as we go into the weekend, we start at 69 and then whoop, we go up into the 70s by Monday. Is this guaranteed? No, but there does seem to be some good evidence that we're going to push a warm front through the area and that will warm us up. But that's subject to change, keep in mind. Temperatures today, way below average, down into the upper 40s, maybe some lower 50s on maybe some of the higher hills of the southern tier. Lake Erie shoreline here, lower 50s here. The rain continues and quite chilly with that northwest wind. The next 7 days, on the screen, powered by Brotherhood Property Maintenance, 62 tomorrow, 61 on Thursday. We start to clear out the rain, and there's that warming trend as we go into the weekend. Maybe a few scattered thunderstorms on Monday. Sports is next, so don't go away.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Happy Tuesday, sports fans, and welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. This afternoon, with a 5 o'clock first pitch, the Panama Panthers will be on the road for a non-conference game against the Youngsville Eagles in Youngsville, Pennsylvania. Panama has lost their last 2 games, their most recent one being a 4-2 loss against Falconer last Saturday. Panama also has a game tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. against the Brockton Bulldogs. Tonight, with a 7:05 first pitch, the New York Mets will begin a 3-game road stand against the Washington Nationals. The Mets are currently in 3rd place in the NL East with a 19-20 record, 3.5 games behind the first place Philadelphia Phillies. Meanwhile, Washington is in 4th in the same division with a record of 16-24. Noah Syndergaard will be on the starting mound tonight for the Mets, while Jeremy Hellickson will be the starting pitcher for the Washington Nationals. The game will be televised on Sportsnet New York and can be viewed on the MLB At Bat app. One of the NBA Conference Finals will begin tonight. With a 9 o'clock tip-off, the Golden State Warriors will be hosting the Portland Trail Blazers in Game 1 of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Prior to making this series, Golden State defeated the Houston Rockets in 6 games in the Western Conference semifinals. Meanwhile, Portland eliminated the Denver Nuggets in 7 games in the other NBA Western Conference semifinal series. The game will be televised on ESPN and can be viewed on the NBA app. That's it for sports today. Justin and Rory, back to you.
All right, looking forward to some great courtside action tonight, Norm. Thank you, as always. Well, Jamestown Public Schools will hold its annual district-wide art show next week. The show will debut during an opening reception on Tuesday, May 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. That's at Jefferson Middle School's gymnasium. School officials said hundreds of works of art from kindergarten through 12th grade will be featured. Art teachers from across the district selected pieces of student artwork to include in the show. There's some of them there. After the opening reception, the artwork will be on display at Jefferson Middle School through June 4th. The community is encouraged to visit the art show at Jefferson Middle School during school hours by signing in at their main office or visiting the display during the opening night. Pretty cool. Lots of great local art available there for a lot of people. And, always great to kind of highlight some of the local talent. And they're pretty darn good, too.
There's amazing young artists out there. I always like traditional art.
Yeah.
I don't get the modern stuff and the eclectic stuff.
Right.
But I've seen some landscapes and still lifes and things done by kids that was as good as anything I've seen done by professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Dakota, you are a Jamestown High School alumni. You went to Jamestown Public Schools.
Yep.
Did you ever do any artsy stuff or not?
Obviously, when you're in, I think, now obviously you have to take art in your early years.
Right.
But I did take cartooning when I was in high school. Hi, Mr.
That's
Mazone.
cool.
But my drawings are so terrible. And I did take a course that was working with Photoshop and something like that. But again, I'm not a great artist. No, but
you do a good job.
I think my artistic skills top out at stick figures. That's me. So.
Years ago when I was in college up at Fredonia, I did a watercolor of a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons dice.
Yeah.
And for me, it turned out good. It was about this big, so I framed it and hung it on my wall. And my roommate came in and saw it, and he said, "That's what I love about you. Your sense of humor, I think you really believe that that's good, and I know you don't." And so it spent the rest of the semester in my closet.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Well, when it comes to making weather graphics, this is kind of my artistic skill here.
There you go.
Talking about what's happened here, and for some reason my graphics, there they go. But anyway, I mentioned that Lake Erie water level. There's the Brotherhood Property Maintenance 7-day. We start to warm up now. Is that 70 guaranteed? No. That is subject to change. There's a big split in the computer models. Some of us have us in the 50s and 60s. A couple of them are trying to spike us up into the 80s. I'm going straight in the middle, but we'll see as we go throughout the week, and of course we'll revise that.
All right, cool. Dakota, thank you as always. Hey, I'm happy with upper 60s at this point, but if you can almost give me an 80.
We need dry for the bonfire.
We do, absolutely. So if you're doing anything outside, really,
that's looking good, by the way.
Dry,
so far.
dry is very important.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We leave you with a live look over the DoubleTree camera, looking at downtown Jamestown. A little bit of clouds. If you missed anything that we just talked about, you can catch it on the flip side at WNYNewsNow.com, our brand new mobile app, or watch this broadcast again. It will be 24/7 right here on our streaming network. See you tomorrow.
Adios.